Welcome back to another episode of AM and the PM with Amanda and Mark.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. We're back.
We're back. We had a hiatus.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone notices when we're gone, but but we notice and we don't really like it. So, how long have we been doing this now?
88 episodes or so, I think. Somewhere around there. This might be 80.
I meant like time.
Yeah, well, it's about once a week,
Well,
so
basically,
almost 2 years. I mean, year and a half.
yeah. So we've only missed twice, and the 1 week we missed, I think, is because I was literally so stressed and I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. It was when my parents were moving into their house, and my mom wanted to like run me like a workhorse every day, and I was, working out, doing stuff with Mark, and it seemed like if I wasn't helping move or doing something else, we were doing like 7 different other things. I don't even remember what it was, but it was like every day I was helping her or doing something. Like it was crazy. It was madness. It was absolute madness. And it was super weird because once we moved into the other house, it was like calm. I just remember being extremely crazy, and then we moved into this nice new house, and obviously, this house is my home, but I'm currently living with them at their new house, and it was just like so calming. And although I'm really eager to move in here, I was just so grateful for it to be nice and calm.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I think just because we were still living here, and while we were living here, shit was everywhere. Stuff was getting thrown everywhere because we were moving and we were trying to do whatever here. It was just super chaotic. So,
Yeah, I think you kind of went off on a weird tangent there. You were talking about, like, we missed 2 episodes, and then you said, talked about that, and then you didn't talk about the other time, like this
oh,
recent time or something.
oh, well, yeah, and then we did not record last week because we had COVID. Well, I for sure had COVID,
I probably did.
but Mark definitely he
Hmm.
definitely had COVID. He just didn't get a test.
No.
So I kind of wanted to talk about COVID today, and it's hard. It's not easy for me to talk about, I guess. Not because I don't have like my own opinion. I think it's just because it's become just madness.
It's a good way to put it.
Um, not so. I wanted to start this off by saying everything I say here today is my opinion and how I feel. And my choices for myself and Mark's choices for himself, and it is my opinion. And I think for me, it's been extremely, extremely hard because it's kind of been like, I'm well aware that I'm like an adult woman who needs to develop her own mind and opinion, which I do. And I'm trying to be very self-efficient or aware or whatever the fuck. But, but it's like, it kind of went like, my family is all going to get the vaccine, and then like Mark's whole family is choosing not to get the vaccine. And, um, I still have not received the vaccine. And it's literally not that I don't want to get the vaccine, because I would love to if I thought it was a good choice for my body, but we'll get to that. Not saying it wouldn't be. I could get it and nothing could happen, but I just think you don't know, and there's a lot of things that are just not talked about. We don't have to go down the rabbit hole just yet. But it was kind of like, okay, if I'd never met Mark or we weren't in a relationship, I probably would have got the vaccine. But it's not because it's like, me doing whatever Mark does. It's because, okay, Mark's not in my life. I don't hear his family's perspective. I don't hear other ideas. It would have just been me and my family gets it. I get it, you know? So, I mean, I could keep talking. I don't know if you have any thoughts.
I mean, I have a lot of thoughts. What, you want me to cover something specifically, or?
Um, well, I guess I'll just say the reason I haven't gotten it is because, and like, sure, yeah, maybe I am seeing this on social media or whatever else, and I don't know, people will say social media isn't true or whatever, but like, I've seen like people having seizures from it. I've seen people like just having these horrible effects after they get it. And I am well aware that Pfizer is FDA approved and all that jazz. But like, there's also a lot of stuff that is FDA approved, I guess, that like still is affecting people, um, in like extreme negative ways. And I've never been one to not get a vaccine. Like, I feel like I've actually been the opposite. Like, I remember, um, like, I'm not gonna lie, I think Mark's family is that family. They're definitely that family that, like, doesn't really do vaccines. And, like, that's never been me.
I don't even know what you're talking about at this point. You're just kind of.
I'm rambling.
I mean, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. You're just kind of like saying random stuff. Maybe we should scout a path for the conversation.
Okay, I think I'm
First
making
thing
sense,
is
but
that
okay.
doesn't. I don't know what you're talking about, but the Mark's family, not vaccine people or whatever.
You're not.
Okay,
No,
let's take a step back.
we can take a step
Let's
back.
take
Yeah,
a
go
step back.
ahead.
Prior to the year 2021, what the fuck does that even mean? Like, what does that even mean? Like, not a vaccine person.
No, I'm not saying you're not a vaccine person, but I just remember speaking with your mom and like there were just a lot of vaccines that she just like didn't give you guys as a baby, which is like fine.
I don't
And
know. I
that
don't know my
not
entire
as
history, but
not as a baby, but
I
maybe
know that I
like
got all the stuff that I needed to go to like school and things.
yeah, maybe there were other vaccines like she didn't give you that like maybe my mom would have, and like there's nothing wrong with that. I'm literally just saying.
Right, I understand. It doesn't really matter though.
Yeah, I know that doesn't really matter, but I was
The
just
thing is that if we're talking specifically about COVID-19, the entire thing has been politicized from the very beginning. Right versus left, vax versus unvaxxed, mask versus no mask. I mean, every single angle that could have pinned people together from the very beginning has pinned people together. You have people that just listen blindly to shit and don't try to do any additional research. And I'm not saying every bit of thing you hear on the internet is legitimate. I'm just saying they don't even look for other answers. They just watch this like weird mainstream television. These people, like, they'll say one thing and then the next day they will literally say the complete opposite, and it's just lies. Like, it's just whatever way. You hear the words narrative, agenda, you hear all that sort of stuff. It's because it's real, because, like, they say opposing shit from day to day. Even the people that are supposed to be in charge, okay? They just, it's like they make shit up because from day to day, and it's like, oh, the science is changing. It's like, it doesn't change that fucking fast. Like, even though nobody knew what happened when everything started, nobody knew what was going on. It was like 15 days, just 2 weeks to slow the spread and all that sort of stuff. Then they tell you things, and as you go along, you realize that, wait a second, they knew other things that they weren't telling us 2 months ago, and now it's coming out. It's like, oh yeah, that's what was the deal. But they didn't tell you 2 months ago. They waited, and then it got leaked from multiple times via email or via like some other sort of person that said this, that, or the other thing. It's like, oh, they were over in doing research on this thing. I'm not even kidding you. Like, I'm not gonna just go and espouse random shit here, even though like you could look all this up. It was literally they were trying to make gain of function diseases in caves in China. And that sounds ridiculous to people because they don't hear this shit. And then, but it's literally in emails and documents that have been since released, but you didn't hear about any of that because by the time it happened, everybody was like so dug into this other fucking thing. It's like, oh, wow, this is what happened. This is what happened. It's like, no, they didn't tell you. They omitted the truth until you were so sucked into this other fucking narrative. And then they're like, oh, this came out. And then it just basically, it's nobody cares about it. Like most people don't care about it because they've just been listening to the one thing that the fucking television, MSNBC, CNN, even Fox News, like whoever the fuck is like on there is just feeding them shit. You go into people's homes and that's all you see on television is just like fucking nightly news on these channels or whatever. I don't want to go crazy on the thing there. But here's the thing. All of that's like, it's a legit illness. It's shitty. We just had it. It's crappy, right? It knocks you down. It's varying effects. But you can't just I don't care what anybody else does. Like, as long as they're not hurting anyone else, why would I care about what any decision anybody else makes? And if you know me, hopefully you realize that I don't care. I mean, like, you and I see us as a team, so I inherently care about your decisions a little bit more. But even most of the time, I really don't care what you do, you know? So, like, but somebody outside of that unit, like our family, I legitimately don't even fucking care. Like, I don't care what any of my family does because they're not me. And I have a strict rule about that because I don't care. So the problem that I have, to summarize, and then I'll kick it back over to you and you can go wherever you want with this. The problem that I have with the situation, and the problem that a lot of people have, and then one group of people, the problem that one group of people have, and the other group of people like just are the complete opposite, is that people like me, I would say, don't just want to be like left alone. Like, they just don't want to be told what to do, and they don't give a fuck what the other people do. And then the opposing group just wants to have all of the power and all of the control and be like, mandate the fuck out of people because they think that they know what is best for everyone. Like, every single person, somehow they have been deemed Jesus on earth or God, and they think that they can tell other people what to do. Like, I don't know what goes on in your head that you think that you have that right. I'm not sure. I think you need actually to seek out some help if you actually think that you can tell other people what to do. But the question about specifically the vaccine type thing, if we want to use that as an example, the first and last answer to the question should be talk to your doctor and make the best decision for you. That should be it. It shouldn't be you have to get it to fucking work. It shouldn't be you have to get it to go on a plane. It shouldn't be you have to get it to fucking go to the playground. Like, talk to your doctor and do what's best for you. Because everybody is fucking different. These damn vaccines they're approved by the FDA now, but they're like experimental in nature. They're mRNA. There's no other vaccines that were specifically designed like this, like with this technology. They're really the first of their kind that have especially been this mass produced. And they've had so many problems. I'm not saying they don't work. That's not at all what I'm saying. But the actual percentage of problems has been more than like the numbers that you see on VAERS and stuff are way higher than like the normal threshold of problems that they would put up with, that they would care about for like another vaccine. And again, I'm not even saying don't get it. I'm just saying don't fucking tell me or anybody else to or not to. And that's the whole problem. Because it's just the authoritarianism is really the problem. It's not even the fucking medicine. It is an opportunity to further authoritarianism and do shit, and it's disgusting and revolting. Sorry for the monologue there and the rant, but that is where I'm at in a nutshell. This wasn't even my topic, by the way. Don't think that I wanted to come on here and do this. This was Amanda's idea to do this.
Yeah, and the thing is, I actually, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I've avoided even bringing it up on the podcast. And that's sad, but literally it's because I know people are so heated about it. And this might sound ridiculous, but for me, like, it for a long time it was hard for me to develop my own opinion on it, because it's like there's people out here saying get the vaccine, don't get the vaccine, blah blah blah. And then there's people out here trying to get you to get the vaccine, and um let's be honest, this whole thing is scary. Like, it's fucking terrifying. Like, yes, it is. Um and obviously I don't want to fucking get COVID and end up on a ventilator or whatever else can happen. I don't want to spread it to my aunt, my cousin, um kids at work, like, you know what I mean? So it's terrifying. And I mean, like, you can ask Mark, like, it got me fucked up, like, for for a while. Um and I think it's just hard for me because everyone acted like getting the vaccine is going to be the answer. And I'll just say this, like, I'm not getting it because people are getting it and they are having horrible outcomes of it, like seizures, strokes, whatever. And, you know, my stepdad or whoever else will say, not to bring in names, but he said this, it's a small percentage. Like, oh, it's a small percentage of people that's happening, that blah, blah, blah. But my friend Lauren actually just sent me um a TikTok of this girl. Now, this was Johnson and Johnson, so we all know fucking Johnson and Johnson was recalled a long time ago. But of this lady having like 4 cardiac arrests from the Johnson and Johnson vaccine. And, like, yes, I'm aware Pfizer's FDA approved and I'm aware of all that. But I personally feel like, okay, I made it this far. Yes, I know I just said that I had COVID. Luckily, I wasn't that sick. Um, I still cannot taste or smell. And no, I don't think it's a joke that I had COVID. Like, I'm well aware it's very serious, and um, I'm not completely sure where I got it from. I did find out I was in contact with someone who ended up being positive at some point. We don't need to go into any details about that, but, like, I'm choosing to not get the vaccine for myself and for my body, and I truly want to get it. Like, I would love to get it. And that's what I think people don't understand is
I
everyone
don't
is
understand that at all. Why you're saying that?
okay. Well, that's not what I mean. Like, what I mean is I would love to get it, and it will actually help protect me from getting COVID, and, like, everything will be sunshine and rainbows, and I wouldn't have to worry about any negative effects. Is what I mean by when I say that. Okay. I
There's
just feel like everyone's, like, telling me to get it, and they just are like, no, nothing's gonna happen to you if you get it. Like, you're not gonna have
there's
those bad
there's
effects.
I have 3 things, but I can't remember the third. Maybe I'll remember. There's 2 things exactly what you just said there. The first thing is that I have heard that it's going to be endemic. It's going to be like long lasting forever because all of the vaccines that they produced. The thing is, there's variants, right? Everybody hears the variants, right? Well, there's
Yeah.
variants of the flu. And that's why we get a different strain every year. That's why you have to get
Mhm.
a flu shot every year, which I've never gotten that either, and I never got the flu.
Yeah.
But there's variants, right? And it's just going to keep mutating, and it's going to be endemic, and it's going to be like it's going to not like it. Like, I don't know when the fuck we forgot. And I'm not a scientist, but I don't know when the fuck
Yeah.
we decided that it was going to be like, oh, there's a disease in the world and
And
it's
we
like
get it,
bad,
and
and then it's like we have to completely get rid of it, or we have to do crazy authoritarian measures to get rid of something that don't make any fucking sense. And then it's like, when did we forget that we as a species are thousands of years old, and we probably made it here through some pretty shitty stuff, and we probably have the evolutionary capacity to get through this. Albeit, don't be stupid, right? I mean, don't take unnecessary risks, and obviously do this, that, and the other thing. But like, when did we think that like a couple years of this, like it was just gonna kind of work its way? Like, as soon as you heard the Delta variant, the first fucking thing you heard is like, it's not as bad as the original. Maybe it's a little more contagious or whatever, but it's not as bad. It's not killing as many people. This, that. Like, that was the first thing you heard. It's like, wow, that makes a whole fucking ton of sense because people got it. They got it in their system. Our bodies learned how to adapt to it, like, and we evolved slightly. And then boom, now the next one is like, it's weakened. Like, that's just how I feel like everything's worked. So that's the first thing. It's becoming endemic. But the other thing is, you were saying that you would love to get it, which I don't really, the phrasing of that is a little weird to me, but I understand what you're saying. You'd love to get it and have nothing be
Well,
wrong.
can I say something?
Well, you'd love to be guaranteed that nothing was going to be wrong.
Well, yeah, can I say something?
Okay.
Well, first off, people who have the vaccine are getting COVID.
Right.
And it's because
there's so much here. Yeah, keep going. Yeah.
It's because my mom looked it up. Like, I'll just say because, you know, I need
notes.
I was living with my stepdad and he was sick. He ended up not having COVID, but it was really weird that he was sick the same exact time I had COVID. Anyways, he got tested like twice and it was negative, but it was just so weird. He was sick at the same time. He got the Pfizer vaccine and it says after 6 months, it's only 40% effective. And supposedly, you know, I wish I had like more facts, but this is just what I've learned, what I've gathered. Like, I'm not going to sit here and like, you know, whatever. But supposedly, I guess, you know, that's like any like flu shot or whatever. Like, you get the flu shot and then after a certain amount of time, it, you know, like, it might not be as effective as before. So I guess like that's why they're now doing boosters, because when you get a booster on top of it, it's supposed to be even more effective, which makes sense, I guess. And I guess they're saying like every year you might have to get the shot and a booster.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, go ahead.
All right. Booster sounds a little bit like a flu shot, like a yearly flu shot. That's kind of what a booster sounds like. Okay, let's just leave that there. Next thing though is a big problem is accountability and liability. I don't understand why you can be forced, like people are being forced to get a permanent medical procedure, and then when they ask who's liable if something does happen, heaven forbid, nobody is liable. Meaning that if your work tells you, not your work, a work, right? A job, an employer tells person X, you have to get this or else you're fired. And then that person gets it, and then something happens. They get myocarditis or they get this, that, or the other thing. I'm almost certain the employer is not held responsible in any sort of way. And then it's like, okay, well, how about Pfizer or Moderna or whoever the shot is? Nope, they're not liable either. To me, that doesn't really seem right. Then you also have people like they'll go to their doctors. You'll have doctors and the doctor will say, yeah, I get the shot. And then they're like, okay, well, will you give me the shot? And they're like, no. You have to go down to the fucking parking lot in Walgreens or something like that and get the shot. And like, why can't you give me the shot? Why? He's like, no, I can't do that. Like, and it's like, well, if something happened to me, can you prescribe it to me? It's like, no. So they're not liable either. Why is there no liability or accountability anywhere in this chain? There's not even accountability to how the fucking thing originated, and there's nothing on the vaccine stuff. So again, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm just saying, why are you forcing me? Why are we being forced? That is my big problem. And that is everyone's fucking problem. That is like anybody that has a problem with it, that's it. They're not anti-vaxxers. They're not medicine deniers. They're not fucking this, that, or the other thing. So many people, almost like the actual percentage of people that are really anti-vax and don't never put any vaccines in their body and shit, I don't have numbers. I guarantee you it's low as fuck because those people have a different mindset. Like they don't want the medicine. These people, 90% of the people that get shit today, in this instance, for the past 2 years or whatever, are because they're against authoritative fucking medicine that doesn't even make sense. So that is the problem. It's the authoritarian and the authoritarian shit and the mandates and stuff. It's not the fucking medicine. So stop using that as the actual scapegoat in this situation because it's about liability. It's about actual fucking science and logic. Like why are we forcing all this sort of stuff? And again, it's not even that the stuff doesn't work. It's probably fine, but like it's just this weird undertone of like, why is this being forced so much? It's just very strange. And then not only that, the question shouldn't even be that. It should be, do you need this? Why would any medical procedure ever be forced? Why wouldn't it be a question of, what is your personal situation, and is this the best practice for you? Because there's places, because there's even the vaccine passports and things like that in like New York. There was no medical restrictions the last time I checked. That means that you can't get it. Like, you have to get it. You can't even get like a medical restriction. Like, if you had something that directly coincided with something that was in the vaccine that you knew you were going to get there was going to be a problem from it or something, you had to still get it. Like, it's mind blowing, creepy shit.
Well, ever since the vaccine came out, I feel like there's still so much COVID. And
I didn't even hit on that point.
And I honestly just thought about that now. But ever since I was just thinking, because I remember before, we were all excited the vaccine was coming out. I mean, I was obviously like, even then, like skeptical about getting it or whatever. But like, obviously, even though I wasn't planning on getting it, I did have some sort of hope. Like, okay, maybe this is it. Maybe this will better the scenario, and it just seems like it hasn't.
You can still get coronavirus if you're
yeah,
vaccinated.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of my friend works in a doctor's office, and she said she's just been seeing positive cases nonstop.
I mean, it's called a breakthrough case.
I've gotten it. I've seen a lot of people firsthand
like,
getting it.
Like, I hear a lot of people getting this shit when they have the vaccine. Again, I'm not even saying that like that. I'm not even saying that's cause to not get the vaccine. I'm actually, I don't know. I thought that was the thing. Again, this is what I was talking about earlier, though. The story changed and the goalpost changed literally throughout the whole entire crazy story. At first, they were like, you have to have wear your mask on until you get the vaccine, and then you get the vaccine, and then they changed it. You got to put the mask back on, and everything's changed there, and all that sort of stuff. Masks are like, seem like they've gone halfway by the wayside now. Then they leaned into the vaccine thing, and they're like, okay, everybody get vaccinated. Fuck the mask. Don't even worry about the mask. Just get vaccinated. And then it's like, you could still get COVID, obviously, with the vaccine, but the symptoms are maybe a little bit less, or you'll have less symptoms. And I'm like, okay, so you get it, you get the vaccine, you still get COVID. And now it's like, okay, well, what the fuck did I do that for? Then to top it all off, there's a lot of people in this country that have already had, we're just talking about the country, that have already had COVID, right? And have survived because of the death rate. I'm not even sure what that is. I don't even know if you're allowed to talk about that. I watch shit, and I don't know if you're allowed to talk about mortality rates or whatever on other YouTube shows. But the mortality rate's so small. And again, no disrespect to the people that have perished. It's terrible. It's not a fun time, coronavirus. Again, we just got over it. But then you have all of that, and that's driving all of these decisions and all these mandates and everything like that. And then it's like, okay, well, you could still get it if you get the vaccine, and maybe your symptoms are a little bit less. But then they started blaming the people that weren't vaccinated. A pandemic of the unvaccinated. Like, I can't even wrap my head around that. When in the world, how are you blaming the effectiveness of a medicine on the people that aren't taking the medicine? That doesn't even make any sense.
Because supposedly we're never going to get back to normal unless everyone gets vaccinated. But if everyone gets vaccinated, are none of us going to get COVID then? Like, for sure. Like, can you actually?
No, because the vaccine, I'm pretty sure, doesn't even work on the variants that are. This is going to be a constant. It's like a constant rat race to try to do it, because it's not. It's here's the thing. Again, I don't want to blame other people. I don't even care about what other people do. But the problem is, and the thing that I wish that I would just ask people to stop and think about is, like, think about the facts that you've been told, and then try to really think backwards and think, was I told everything like right as they knew it? Or did they tell me something and like omit some information, and then did I hear about some other shit like two months later that would have helped me 2 months before, and they actually knew that information then? Because this is what it's like to listen to any sort of independent media. Because if you just listen to the mainstream shit, then you're just constantly like plugged into this weird fucking agenda narrative thing. And I probably sound like conspiracy theorist to most people, but that's literally how it is. And it's not crazy. They're not crazy people that are telling you this shit. Like just regular independent media on like YouTube that are actually just searching for information. That's really the difference. It's like if you go online and you type in a question that you have, you'll probably find several articles from reputable sources that like contradict slightly the things that you hear on the nightly fucking news. And then it's like, oh, wait a second. Why should I even watch this garbage when the actual information, up to date journalists getting the information is right here, and I'm gonna know it if you're into independent media. And this is like beyond the scope of even like Amanda probably doesn't know what the fuck I'm talking about here. Like if you're looking for the information and you're trying to be like somewhat on top of that and listening to people that know what they're talking about and do the research, then you're gonna know the information months before people that just watch the nightly news. And then by the time they pick up on it, or by the time it like maybe gets to their outlets, you're gonna be like, yeah, I knew that like a while ago because that's when it happened. And just there's like this filter, and nobody, like, you don't hear the information. And then by that time, it's like you don't even care because it was a big story, but it broke already, and it's like, oh well, we're on we're on this now. We're just listening to this funny segment on MSNBC now that's like about like I don't know, some sort of weird shit.
Yeah, and everyone says you have to watch the news because this, that, and the third. Which, like, I have no problem with watching the news, but just what you said there, yeah, it's just. And, like, what about, this is a side note, but what about all the, like, forest fires and all the shit going on in the world in different countries that we don't hear about at all? And then everyone's like, oh, why didn't we hear about that?
It's actually, when you really step back and think about it, like if you take a step back out of your bubble for 2 minutes, you really understand. It's like when you are watching a literal box, okay? Like think of the idea of general cable, okay? People it's amazing how people haven't figured this out yet in terms of like information, but they've figured out 100% in terms of entertainment, but they haven't in information. Just stick with me for a second. Remember like when you were younger, Amanda, you you pretty much only could watch what was on at 6 p.m., right? And like you had to wait for, here's a good example. You had to wait till 9 o'clock to watch Full House on Nick at Night, right? But now, if you wanted to watch Full House, assuming you have like Hulu or whatever platform it is, you can just watch it whenever you want,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you control the entertainment. What the entertainment is that you see, whether it's some on Netflix, you can watch it anytime, or this, that. You're not like looking at the TV guide to see when the information's coming. Well, I would argue people that are, resourceful, ingenuitive, people that want to learn have done that with information now. And what I mean is that they're not waiting until 6 p.m. to watch the nightly news with whoever the fuck is on MSNBC, CNN, Fox, whatever. They are finding it. Maybe there's shows on at certain times on YouTube. I know that I watch like Tim Pool, for instance, 8 p.m. every night. But what I'm saying is like you're finding information like you did with entertainment. Now it's like, oh, I want some information about or news or current events, and I'm gonna go find that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not just gonna wait for it to be downloaded into my fucking head at a certain channel, certain time every single
Yeah,
night.
and to be honest, I feel like Mark like taught me that. Like, not I'm not just saying like just the news, but I guess more of like information. Like, me personally, I just never thought, like, not like I never thought, but like it is kind of crazy how I never thought to like Google things, like, so there's that. That might sound stupid, but there's a lot of things that, oh my God, the one thing that pisses me off so bad, and I'm sorry to say that because if you do this, like, it's okay. Like, there are some things I put on Facebook that's fine, but like some people put the most stupid stuff on Facebook. I'm sorry, I just can't. Like, they ask a question on Facebook that they can literally type into Google and get an answer in like 2 seconds, and I'm just like, why? But like, they're just trying to communicate with people on Facebook, whatever. Um, but yeah, just like um I think a lot of people don't think about that because it's harder to like research and it's easier to just like watch the fucking news. But um I don't want to sit here and say the news is all lies, but I just think it's like a media frenzy that is very scary. since all this started. And if you believe what everything the news says, that's fine. But I don't know if I do. And I personally am just very hurt by people that you know, their opinions are just taking over their lives. And I wish we can just remember that we are all humans. And that I may have chosen to not get the vaccine, but for whatever reason that puts people's panties in a bunch, and it just really makes them upset because I'm choosing not to get the vaccine. It's a horrible choice, and everyone who should get vaccinated should get vaccinated. And
I've said this from the very beginning. I'm going to say it right here because it's completely.
It's not a joke.
Yeah.
Which I know it's not a joke. I think we're all well aware that this is not a joke. This is not a drill. You know, I'm not gonna lie. Like, maybe I don't wear my mask everywhere or blah blah blah. But what I think is, if the mask was such a big deal, why isn't it mandated again?
Look, here's at the end of the day. Okay.
Why isn't it mandated again? And people are saying the reason the mask isn't mandated is because people are going to get angry. Well, people are already fucking angry.
I don't know what
so
you're
if
talking
the
about.
mask is going to solve... I'm talking about people are upset that people are going places and not wearing a mask, right?
I don't know who's saying that. I'm not sure. Are you advocating for mandates?
No, what I'm saying is
we've had this discussion
people
before.
are so upset about that. But if the mask was that serious, why wouldn't they mandate it?
Needs to be more data on masks anyway, because like people are putting cloths on their face. So that's a totally different thing. I hope to God we're kind of over the mask thing, because unless you're actually actively sick, you probably...
It because
I don't even...
I literally go to Sheets and like the sign will be like, wear a mask even if you're not vaccinated, and like no one's fucking wearing it. And I'm just like, okay, so this is how this is going. Okay. But have you noticed
mandates
no
are never going to work.
No one's talking about the masks anymore.
Good.
You didn't notice that.
Perfect.
Which is also kind of weird.
Okay. I'm going to say this now because like I think it's important, and I've said it from the beginning. I love every single person that's like in my life. I want to continue to interact and all that sort of stuff, and like, but like what you mentioned, this has made people actually insane. Like I don't really feel that I have changed that much during this time, but I know many people personally and, you know, further off that like have actually changed into different people because they think that this is somehow like their moment or something to be like the world's police, or like do their part and force everybody else to do their part, which that's a totally different discussion that doesn't even make any sense. But like they think like this is their moment, the biggest they're gonna get, so enjoy it. That's a line from a song. But like this is their moment.
What song is that?
Kill Shot, I think. This is your moment, as big as you're gonna get, so enjoy it. Okay, anyway, but like this is their moment, like they've just like, it's a weird phenomena. They've just seized up this opportunity to tell people what to do. I don't know why. There's many different reasons that could happen, and like they just want to run with it and never give it up. It's called authoritarianism. So I don't want those people in my life. Like if they are gonna do that, let me rephrase. I would like to, I would love to have anybody in my life, right? I'd love to talk to anybody, interact, whatever. But if they're going to be like that, I do not need that energy in my life. And I've said that from the get-go. If that is going to be the case, then I'm totally cool with like limiting or cutting off the interaction that I have with anybody like that. And that is not, people are going to misconstrue that and they're going to think that, oh, wow, Mark, you're a piece of shit. That's actually not it. It's, why would you want added stress and added like confusion and really what it is, it's scariness. Why would you want that in your life when you don't know how a person's going to react, or a person that's like trying to force you or make you feel guilty constantly. You wouldn't want to be in a relationship with that person, and you wouldn't want to be in a friendship with that person.
Yeah.
So this has nothing to do with any of the stuff really going on. It is a consequence of the way people have reacted to it. And I'm totally fine because I like to keep my stress relatively low because I put enough stress on myself doing the things that we do, right? So I don't need outside shit.
Yeah. And I mean, my whole family obviously knows I'm not vaccinated, and they've had a lot of things to say about it, but they've respected my decision as an adult woman. And
Very
I
respectable
think it's very
thing to do.
I have really evolved these past couple years, and if there's anything I've learned is I make decisions for myself, me, myself, and I, um, and that's it. And I think everyone is so eager to get back to normal, and they think that this is going to make things normal or somewhat normal again, which I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, we can hope, but like,
Can I actually just say something that I just thought about that?
what?
There's a news flash. Most like people that aren't going crazy from it all and just like, they practice safeness, if they get the COVID, they just deal with it and they and then they're back on their way, whatever. Those life for those people has not really changed. Like there is
Yeah.
it's still normal because
Yeah.
it's still the same shit. It's like, wow, this is really weird. We've never really had like a pandemic, or we've never had like a new disease really in our lifetime. That's a little weird, but let's do what we got to do. Let's not lose our heads.
Let's live our life.
Let's not implement authoritarianism. Let's just be a normal human being. Wash your hands maybe a little bit more or whatever. Be a little more careful in certain places. Whatever, fine. And just don't be a psycho. And then, but for everyone else, like though that is the situation that has changed for people. Like their lives have changed. They have literally flipped everything on upside down. And then what's crazy is those people will tell you, oh, you got to do this, and this, and change your entire mindset, view in the world and everything like that so we can get back to normal. It's like, listen, in what world does that make any sense that you do all these different things, you actually change the way that you think about life and everything else that we've ever known about, like everything, disease, like our health, evolution, no talk of anything about being healthy anymore. Never really was, but no talk about being healthy.
And I just
and we're gonna get back to normal. That makes a whole lot of sense. I'm definitely gonna listen to you.
extremely rude and disrespectful for like anyone to tell you what to do. And the way I live my life, I guess, is I give people my opinions on like maybe what I think they should do or advice or whatever. But I'm never going to tell someone to do something. And I honestly have no clue how people can even do that. And like, sure, we would all like to get back to normal, but as we can see, vaccinated people are still getting it. And, everyone will say it's a very small percentage or whatever, but people who are getting the vaccine out there, like, are still having effects, whether if it's a small percentage or maybe it's just because people aren't fucking talking about it as much. Maybe we see it on social media because it's not going to be on the news because everyone wants you to get the vaccine and da da da. I mean, that might not be true. I don't know. I'm just saying. But like, let's not lose our heads, and everyone lost their heads and they better go pick it up and find it.
I don't know.
So basically my goal is to keep my head on straight, and I've been saying that for a long time now. I think Mark taught me that little thing, that little expression to keep your head on straight. And as long as my head's on straight and I can fucking see and I'm moving forward and doing what I need to do for me and myself, then that's fine. Like I said, I will just never understand why people want to tell everyone what to do. Because I thought this was your life you're living, not
I just think it's crazy. We're not telling people what to do, and I think that like,
No, like you want to get the vaccine, get the vaccine. You don't want to get it,
well,
don't
I
get
just
it.
again,
You want to wear a mask, wear a mask. You don't want to
I
wear a
mean,
mask, don't wear a
people
mask.
are
I don't give a fuck.
people are so quick to like tell you that you're an asshole for this, that, or the other thing, or whatever when you're not doing something. But like again, I'm not sure in what world. How can you tell people what to do? Like what power where did you derive the idea that you think that you know enough to tell people what to do? Especially when it comes to an irreversible medical treatment for somebody specifically.
No.
Like what if you were somebody that what if you were a authoritative crazy person and you said, person X, you have to go get the vaccine right now. And then that person X is just like a completely obedient, glazed over person, says, yes, authoritative, person. And then they went and got the vaccine and then they died because they had some sort of weird thing going on or whatever that, that caused them that like, there's no way that the two medical situations, the vaccine, the medicine vaccine, and then their body, there's no way it would have taken properly. But now that person literally just caused a death. It's just, it's just like, why would you want to even have that possibility? Why not just say, hey, are you concerned? How old are you? All these different questions. Like, don't even like, are you concerned about the current situation? Awesome. Go talk to your doctor and make the best decision for you.
Yeah.
Like, that is the only acceptable answer.
Yeah,
And I can't believe that we've gone so far off the rails and people think
it's very far.
and people think that there's other questions. Because that's not saying don't get it. That's saying consult with a doctor.
Yeah, and I know everyone is like terrified and scared and everything. And when I went back to working at the nursery, St. Paul's, at first we didn't have to wear a mask. Because like it was back when like, everyone was vaccinated and you like didn't have to wear a mask or whatever. And I like told them like, hey, I'm like not vaccinated. Like if it would make you feel more comfortable for me to wear a mask, like my coworkers, I will, just because I know people are so scared and worried and it's a scary thing. And I want to make sure I make sure people are as comfortable as they possibly can being around me. But apparently, me not being vaccinated, that it's just not enough. So, but I don't know. Like I said, I want to make sure everyone around me feels safe, but then my number one priority is myself. So that's why I'm making these decisions, and that's all, folks.
I mean, I think that's all there is to it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's individualism first.
Yeah.
Then collectivism.
Yeah.
Not saying collectivism is bad, but individualism first.
And
because
I used
you can't
to
have
care
individual.
about,
You can't have a collective without individuals.
I used to care about other people more than I did about myself. So
Scary way to live. And don't get it twisted either. These people don't care about other people more than they care about themselves. Like, that's not what's going on here. That's not what's going on. The crazy people that we're talking about here, the like authoritative people that like think that they know everything and they are Jesus reincarnated. That's not what's going on there. Something totally different. We've talked about it enough. Whatever. Your bit of medical advice from non-medical people. Talk to your doctor. Make the best decision for you. It's that simple. Everybody should be saying that. I don't know why they're not. Hopefully things get better in that category. I think they will, because I think there's enough people that are starting to get pissed off about the constant authoritative bullshit that is happening, not just here, but in a lot of other countries. And hopefully we're all as a species not past the point of caring about our own bodily autonomy.
Hopefully it doesn't turn into that movie. What's that movie?
I don't know.
The movie that was like made about COVID, and it's like year blah blah blah.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what
it's called. Fucking horrible,
Can't
terrifying. I cannot believe they
didn't
made.
Watch it. I don't think
we didn't watch it, but I cannot believe they made a movie about like what it's gonna be like in so many years.
Money.
if COVID, it's fucking terrifying. I don't want to fucking.
I'm gonna leave you with this.
I did want to watch it, so yeah, I guess money.
There's a lot of other things we didn't cover here that I've like heard of, like in consequence of this. Maybe if we want to do another one, we could talk about it or whatever. But there's a lot of other things happening that are in consequence to the craziness of the last 2 years that are really gonna start like catching up to us. Like supply chain shortages. You hear people are talking about like, high gas prices here and there. And then you hear low, like there was obviously shortages in stores before. It's probably going to happen again. It's probably going to continue to get worse. So be prepared for that. But just know that if you decide to be somebody that like questions things or tries to find truth or tries to like just literally get information from anywhere other than the one fucking TV box, in your kitchen every night, then you can be a part of the people that like are the next wave of things. There's this saying that like I can't remember where to start it, but like hard times, or let's do like what is it? Strong men create good times create weak men create hard times create strong men. And it continues to cycle like that. We are right at the point where we just had really good times. Obviously, everything's been very easy. Good times are going to create weak men because everything was very easy and people started to care about things that weren't moving us forward. They were in a way, but they were like misconstrued and all this. It was very interesting stuff. But if we come to hard times, if we come to difficult times, then what's going to come out of that is strong men, strong women. So that is where we're shooting for. You got to be on that wavelength. You got to understand that this is cyclical, and there's no dark without the light, and all that sort of shit. There's definitely gonna be hard times, just in general, and hopefully we'll all come out of it stronger.
You got so deep there.
Yeah, I'm a philosophizer, as I think it's dodgeball quote. Anyway.
A what?
I think that's a dodgeball quote.
Okay.
Anyway.
There he is. There he is.
Yeah. Anyway, this has been great. Really good episode here. We should do a weekly current events show.
Ooh.
I don't know. We got a lot of other things going on, but as a brief update, the house is coming great. We got a lot of stuff we just painted. Make sure to follow. I'll put the link to the YouTube channel in the description again.
I tried to paint the door white.
Yeah, it's not great.
It looks like shit.
We're first-time painters. It was a very soupy paint with the brush or the roller. Had too much water on it. I just washed it. It was not a good idea. Anyway, more stuff coming, as always. If you would like some merch, amandthepm.com/shop in the description. If there's a link down there to ask us any question you want to, would be happy to answer it. We got our studio here. It's going to keep getting better. This whole place is going to get better. We're going to get better. That's what we do. Thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it. This has been another episode of AM and the PM with Amanda and Mark. Thank you, as always, and we'll talk to you guys in the next one.